Hey everyone, welcome. Hope you're having a great day. Just let me know where you're coming in from. Dígame tu país, de qué ciudad. Buenos días, damas y caballeros. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Just type in here in the chat. We do have chat enabled. Let's see, here we go. I have you here. Tell me where you are from. Okay, great. We're going to get started here in just about another minute. Hey, listen, want to welcome you. Welcome to Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. Today it's about objections. And what I want to share with you is just a little bit of information on, well, how to overcome these objections. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. And we're going to talk about objections and how they can be eliminated, how they can be reduced, how they can be turned into what you're looking for, right? A solution. So again, my name is Sean Murphy. I'm the founder of Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. Just a little background on that. You know, many years ago, 30 plus years ago, I started down this path, down this roadway of how do I find a way to connect? You know, I wasn't the sharpest knife in school, and I wasn't the smartest kid, and you know that joke, how it goes. I was in the 2% that made the top 98% possible. So I wanted to learn, how do I help people get what they're looking for, right? Henry Ford said, help enough other people get what they want. Or no, Zig Ziglar said it, right? Help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. That philosophy has worked out very well for me. So today, here we are, just about a minute away. Let me tell you a little bit about Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. I want you to pay close attention to that, because it is true that your thoughts create your income, don't they? The problem is most people think of income as money. Now that's part of it. That's a huge part of it. But it's just a part of it. See, everything that comes into your life, everything from the smiles you see on the street to the things you see outside to the way your family responds and treats you, isn't that coming into your life? Think about that for a second. Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. So let's see who's joining us here. I see a bunch of people coming in. Welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. Awesome to see you here. Thank you for spending some time with me today. We're going to dive right into today's workshop. I was just sharing a little bit about Mental Profits, why I created it. It's because a lot of times whenever you're reading a book or watching a video like this or at a seminar, we're all for it. Whatever that is, whatever we're learning, whatever we're reading, whatever we're engaged in, we're all for it at that moment. The challenge is that as soon as we leave that environment, things can really change quick. It's called life, right? So today I'm going to be talking to you about objections, about eliminating objections and eliminating the excuses that we sometimes get from prospects. Now, it doesn't matter what business you're in, right? Because everything is sales. Think about that. Everything is sales. We're either selling our ideas or we're buying theirs. See, when somebody says no to you, you bought the no. Now, sometimes there's a valid excuse. There's a valid reason. It's not an excuse. There's a valid reason. So we're going to talk about that. And so I want to welcome you again. So here, let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. We've only got a little bit of time. First thing I want to talk about is objections versus observations. Think about that for just a second. See, when you understand that the things that we do, people are observing them. And what I want you to do when we're talking to a prospect, whether it's selling and I used to sell industrial equipment, $1 million industrial equipment. And it doesn't matter whether you're selling $1 million item or you're selling a dollar item or you're trying to get people on your list. The key is look at objections as observations. See, because when does it become an objection? When does an objection become an objection? When you take it as an objection. See, when I learned that, my dad was awesome. My dad, just amazing. What I was able to learn with him, through him, and still today. Perception is reality. Right now, here in Dallas, I'm looking out the window. You can see the sun coming in. It's a gorgeous day. But I promise you, somewhere somebody is saying, oh my gosh, it's raining out, or oh my gosh, it's cold out, or oh my gosh, it's fill in the blank. It's still the same day. It's just perception is reality. So what I want to share with you right now is I want you to first take a look, because this is going to help you out a lot. I believe it is. Let me share this with you. What I'm telling you are my ideas, things that have worked for me. I don't know if they'll work for you. I hope they do. So I'm going to do my best to see if I can explain it well enough so it makes sense. So objections versus observations. When somebody has something, well, I don't have time, I don't have money. It's an observation, because they do have time. They're going to be spending it with you, and they do have money because they still have some bills they're paying, whether it's all or not or whatever. So we're going to go through all of that. I want you to look at objections going forward now as observations. See, because if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So let's dive in. So why do they exist? Why do objections exist? Well, first of all, they exist because somebody doesn't have enough information. And I can promise you there's a book somewhere that somebody is selling, and I haven't found the author yet, that is saying, here's all of the excuses you need when you're talking to Sean, or all the excuses you need when you're talking to Harry, or you're talking to Mark, or you're talking to Connie, or I'm just throwing out some of the names of the folks that are on the on the webinar today. So they seem to be customized just for you. Well, I'm going to ask you to change the way you look at things. So if somebody says an objection, look at it as an observation. It's a temporary state of mind, right? Because if the objection was real and it was lifelong, boy, we'd all be in trouble, wouldn't we? Right? For some of the things we had objections on. So the reason it exists is lack of information. So rather than giving them more information so they can be sold, why not find out how to let them buy? Change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So if I wanted to sell this cup and somebody didn't want it, well, what would I need to find out? What's the benefits they get from this? So I'm going to teach you how to ask some questions so you can find out where they're at. So why do you get them? Why do you get objections? Well, because you're talking about what you know versus what they know. Wait a minute, Sean. Whoa. Wait. My goal is to create a sale, to create a transaction, to get them in my business, to have them buy my CD, to get them to join my list. They don't know about it, so don't I have to tell them about it? You do. But do you want to tell them in a language they don't understand or a language they do understand? Folks, when I realized the power of the words that we use, you're either going to push them away or you're going to bring them in. What does it? What brings them in, right? If you were fishing, aren't we fishing? You got to use the right bait. Well, what's the bait that they like? Well, they like to know what they know is okay. So here's what I'm talking about. When you're talking to somebody about your product, your service, your fill in the blank, you have to find out where they're at. And when I say you have to find out where they're at, you have to understand, I'm just checking my notes here so I don't miss anything, so because we're on tight time schedule. When you're talking with them, you got to find out where they're at. So here's a question I use when I'm doing this in trainings. And I was in Ecuador, was it 2 months already? Beginning of June, speaking with 5,000 folks, and had a translator, simultaneous translation. And you need to be very basic in your understanding of your prospect, because they speak their language and I speak my language, meaning you speak John. I'm looking here. Welcome, John. Great to have you here. You speak John language and I speak Sean language. So in order for me to understand where you're at, I have to understand where you're coming from. So if I were to ask you this question, hey, how do I get to your house? What's the first question you'd ask me? First question you'd ask me is, well, where are you? Right? Doesn't that sound like a good conversation? Well, where are you? Well, if I tell you where I'm at, can't you now give me directions? And for all of the people that are watching this, and if you're watching the replay back inside a Mental Profits community, doesn't matter where you're at, you can still ask the same question, but won't the answers all be different? Now, it's still just me, but because I'd be getting to a different location each and every time, wouldn't the answer be different? So first thing you want to do to uncover and just completely eliminate objections is find out where they're at. See, because if you can get them from where they're at to where they want to get to, who would disagree with that? Who would disagree with that? The challenge is we're always trying to get them to this point. We don't know where they're at. We hear them, we say, so what's your biggest why? Do you make enough money? Are you happy with what you have? Would you like more? Do you want more? Do you want to do fill in the blank? The problem is that most people have an idea where they are. They have an idea where they want to get to. Sometimes they're never sure where they're starting from. So that's the first thing we need to do. So I'm going to teach you 2 questions on how to deal with that. Find out where they're at. Second thing we're going to cover over here is real basic. This is so basic. Who's doing more of the talking during the conversation? You or them? Because guess what? I can promise you, whoever's doing the more talking is doing the buying. Well, now, wait a minute, Sean. I'm the one that's supposed to be the presenter, right? I'm presenting what I'm doing. You sure are. But if you're doing more of the talking in this preliminary stage, in this uncovering and eliminating objections, all you're doing is giving them more ammunition to say no to. I'm going to talk about that. So, how do we find out where they're at? So let's get into it. So here's the first understanding. No matter what you're doing, if you're looking to sell a service, a product, a program, whatever it is, you got to find out where they're at. But you got to find out, are they serious about your niche that you could help them in? What do I mean? Okay, so let's say I'm selling a personal development book. Let's say I'm trying to get somebody to join me in a network marketing company. Let's say I'm wanting somebody to invest in their future. So what do I need to do? I can ask 2 questions, and I'm going to teach this to you. I could ask 2 questions to find out where they're at and what they've done in the last 12 months, or what they're going to do in a year's worth of their time. That'd be pretty powerful, wouldn't it? 2 questions, find out a year of their life. Here they are. They're real basic. Write them down. You ready? Number 1. So if I was talking with somebody and we're talking about goal setting, right? Goal achieving, I'd ask them this question. In the last 6 months, Sean, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you 2 questions? See, folks, if you ask permission to do the things you're going to do, they can't say no to the end, to the result. So always ask, can I ask you 2 simple questions? Now, they may not be simple. They're simple to ask. Let me be very clear. First question I want to ask you, Sean, is in the last 6 months, what have you done goal-wise, program-wise, tool-wise, investment-wise to help you reach your goals? In the last 6 months? Well, I've read a couple of books and this, that, and the other. Do you think you could have done more? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm not sure what to do or where to go. So, okay, so pause. So we asked, what have you done in the last 6 months? What did you just find out? You're going to find out how serious they were, what they were doing, why they were doing it, what they weren't doing, what kind of mindset they had. Here's the next question. Real simple, real simple. What are you going to do? Do you have a plan? Do you have goals laid out for the next 6 months to work towards your goal that you told me about? Right? The where you're at, where you want to go. And so, what did you do in the last 6 months? What are you going to do in the next 6 months? So, if they say, well, geez, I don't have anything on my plan, ask them. So, is the next 6 months going to be any different than the last 6? No, not so much. Are you ready to make a change? Is that something you want to do different? Do you want better results in the next 6 months? Because see, folks, if you can keep them focused on them, in their mind, in their heart, in their world, all you're doing now is helping them have more of what they want and less of what they don't. I can promise you, nobody wants to join you in your business. Now, don't send me any emails. Let me explain. No one wants to join you in your business because they don't know what your business is. They may have heard about it, but unless they're in it, they don't know anything about it. And when I mean join, I'm talking about download your stuff. I'm talking about join you in business, sell your products, buy your products. Nobody wants to be in it. Why does anyone do anything? Right? 85% of people hate their job. Come on. Nobody wants to be a part of what you do. What they want is the results they can get from being a part of what you do. See, when you look at that just a little bit different, I've been in network marketing for 14 years. 15 years. Has it been that long? I've been a speaker and trainer for 30 years. Nobody wants to listen to me. I promise you, why they listen to me, why maybe you're here today, is to get something you want. I'm very clear on that. It might help you if you get clear on that. They want what they want. So when you're having these questions, so the last 6 months, the next 6 months, who's that about? Is that about you, your company, your compensation plan? Not a thing. It's about them. See, when you can always make it about them, it's a lot easier for them to move forward. Well, wait a minute, Sean. If it's easier, if I talk all about them and they see the path, why do they need me? Because they can't get there without you. See, you can take them to a place no one else can. Why? Because you're there to help them. So, last 6 months, next 6 months. Now, here's a tough question. See, when you learn these 3 little letters, and when I go to Italy, there's a particular group of, I don't know, it's about 5,000 folks over there. They call me in Italian Mr. Y. When you learn those 3 letters, W-H-Y, you will find out so much more, and you will become this expert of support, success, and goal reaching than you've ever imagined. So I want you to learn these three little letters, W-H-Y. The word is why. So let me ask you, Sean, the last 6 months, not much has happened. The next 6 months, not sure where you're going. Tell me why. Tell me why that's the way it is. Because if I can understand why, is it time? Is it money? Is it not sure where to go? Is it lack of direction? Is it lack of focus? What is it? Because do you want to stay where you're at? Yes or no? The answer would probably be no. Why do you think you've been there? See, when you understand their why, you can really help them through the process. Now, let me just throw out one of the big objections that happens right away. Well, I don't have time. You ready for this? Listen to this. This has been powerful for me. I hope it works for you. I'm going to do my best to make sure I get it across to you. So somebody says, I don't have any time. Awesome. What do you think when somebody says, I don't have any time? Or the other big one, right? I don't have any money. Is that an objection? Let's go back to the very beginning. Or an observation? See, I ask inside my head, is that a reason to do it or an excuse not to? So when you hear somebody say, I don't have any time, what do you hear? Do you hear a reason to move forward or an excuse to leave? I hear an excuse to leave. So then I have to decide, is it an excuse or an observation? Is it an objection or an observation? So I see it as an observation. So I ask them this question. You don't have time for what? Well, to do your business. What do you need time to do my business? Well, I need to talk to people, don't I? Why? There's those three little letters. Why would you talk to people? Well, isn't that what I need to do to create success? Why do you want success? Well, I want it to so I can get my kid through school, get the braces for this, get my mom her car, buy my dad the house, take care of my family, get rid of my credit card debt. I can fill in the blank. So is that fill in the blank important enough to move forward on? Yeah. Then I guess you'll talk to people. See, what happens, folks, is that there's this disconnect of what they really want and what it takes to get there. The mind is so amazing that I can tell you that I want to create a $5,000 a month income. I need a $5,000 a month income. I have to have a $5,000 a month income. And then I'll say, well, I'm not doing what you're doing because what I'm doing doesn't work, and I'm going to keep doing that. Isn't that what they say when they say no to something that you're showing them? So when somebody says I don't have money, I ask the same question. Money for what? Well, to do your thing. Well, why would you do my thing? Well, to get sales, to create income. Why would you create income? See, if we can take them back step by step by step, wherever they need to get to, and show them how what they don't know and how they don't know to do what they need to do gets them to the goal they don't have. So think of this philosophy, and you can watch the recording. If I'm going to help you get something you don't have, aren't you going to have to hear something you haven't heard before? Right? If you want to get to a goal of $10,000 a month, well, do you have $10,000 a month? My guess is if it's a goal, you don't have it already. You're going to have to do something different to get there, right? It's very basic. See, when you can break it down into these basic steps, it makes so much easier, and you don't feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive when you're having the conversation, because you now understand how you can get them there. So here's the thing. So if I want, say, $2,000 a month, my question is do you have $2,000 a month income now, part-time, that you want? The answer is going to be no, because if it's a goal, it's something we don't have. So $2,000 a month, great. So have you done it before? See, if they've done it before, they kind of know what it's going to take. They may not know what it's going to take inside of your business, but more often than not, the answer is no. Okay, great. So if you've not done it before, do you think there's a chance you might have to do something different than you've done before? Well, yeah. So if you're going to do something different, you're probably going to have to hear something different you've not heard before. Do something different, hear something different, right? Because this is how we learn, through hearing, through seeing, through understanding. So do something different, hear something different. And if you do something different, right? If I told you, if you're right-handed, if I told you to eat with your left hand food today, wouldn't you be feeling different? If I told you to write with your opposite hand, if I told you to put your shoes on different, if I told you to, wouldn't you feel different if you're doing something different? See, there's where the disconnect is. Too many times we're like, well, I told them about the product, they had the money, they can easily join, they love the results they've gotten from the product that I gave them, but they said no to the opportunity because there was this disconnect. Going to have to do something different, hear something different, feel different. See, and if you don't walk people through that understanding, when they feel different, they stop. It's like, I'm not sure if this is right. So understand that if you can keep them in that path, in that direction, towards their goal, and let them know it's going to be okay to feel different, to do things different, to have different results, they're on the path. So there's the two questions. So why are they there? Why are they where they're at? Last 6 months, next 6 months. Here's a tough question, and we don't ask this all the time. I know I didn't when in the beginning. Are you willing to move? See, folks, if you don't ask these, somewhere in the subconscious mind, right? Because have you ever had that moment in your life where you go, man, I wish I could just stop my thoughts? Well, if you've ever said, I wish I could stop my thoughts, it proves we are not our thoughts. That's a whole nother training on where we get our foundation from our outside influences. That's a whole nother training. But right now, if you've ever had that, I wish I could control my thoughts, then it just proves we're not our thoughts. There's so many things outside that are directing. So I asked the question, are you willing to move? Are you willing to get out of this spot you're in? Because guess what? If you're not willing to get out of this spot, Nothing I can say will make you change your mind. So if they say, yeah, I'm willing to move, next question, when? See, because when we have these conversations with folks and when we're in the prospecting mode, we're trying to find clients, customers, business partners, you name it, fill in the blank. When you're trying to find these folks, you're looking for the people who are ready, willing, and able. You may find a lot of people who are ready. These are the people sign up and don't do anything. You may find a lot of people who are willing. These are the people sign up and come to every meeting and don't do a darn thing. But you need to find ready, willing, and able. See, that able part we don't ask about. Who's ready to take the next step? Who's sick and tired of being sick and tired? Who's aggravated enough, who's frustrated enough that they've said, today's the day I've had enough. See, we've all had that. We've all had the day we've had enough. It's the day we made changes. Let me give you an example. It's the day that the 2-pack-a-day smoker goes to the doctor and says, the doc says, listen, you go home and get your affairs in order. The day they've had enough, they can quit smoking like that. They've tried for 30 years. It's the person who never puts their seatbelt on and gets missed by a semi-truck by that much and says, that's the day I've had enough. It's the day that, what am I going to say? Fill in the blank. So understanding that you are responsible to your prospect, not for. Boy, I hope that makes sense. You're responsible to them, not for them. So you want to make sure, when are they ready to move? See, folks, because we're all allowed, and I used to teach my teams, and I still do to this day, we're all allowed one charity case a year. And what do I mean by that? The person that we're going to drag along, we're going to pick them up, we're going to buy their products, we're going to do all these things for them, you're only allowed one a year. And now I know for me, when my mentor told me that, I kind of like my taxes. I had enough in returns. I had enough of those I helped over the years to last me the rest of my life. So no more charity cases. This is about you having more of what you want. So you need to find out, is your prospect ready to move? They found out where they are. Are they okay with being where they are? The answer is no. Great. When are you ready to move? Because you have to create that urgency. Because guess what? If you take them to this new point, this new path, this new possibility, and they go, oh my gosh, I can do it with you. When you leave them, what's going to happen? Oh, well, it was one of those things again, and they never work, and blah, 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 and and come up with 1,000 reasons why not. All you need is the one reason why. When you get that one reason why, game over. So, where are they at? Where are they at? Last 6 months, next 6 months? Great. I see you. Not much is happening. A year of your life's going to go by. Not much is going to change. Are you okay with being there? No. Great. When are you willing to move? Now. Awesome. So here's the 3 objection questions. Because right now you haven't begun to give them the plan yet that you have available. You haven't started talking about what it is that you do to help people win, right? We've just spent some time, and we've spent 26 minutes so far. That conversation takes about 3 minutes, 4 minutes when you get good at it. So understand, so now we know that. So here's the 3 objections. So here's the 3 objection questions. Well, what do you mean 3 objection questions? We're going to eliminate them. There's no way you can have an objection from this point forward. Let me explain. First question. Do I have your permission to help? I see some folks that are on the list here that I've worked with before, and whenever I've worked with any of my clients, I've always asked the question, hey, first question, just checking here. First question is hey, do I have your permission to help you? Why would I ask that? I'm sitting there with them. Folks, you have to get things very clear. You have to understand things. So, do I have your permission to help? What's somebody going to say? No? Guess what? You don't have to deal with it anymore. You get to go on about your day. If they do say yes, though, you've now started the process. So yes, of course you have my permission to help. That's what I always hear. Sure. The second question, and these I've taught to my private training students, my private mental profit students, and I'm sharing them with you because It's the day I've had enough. You need to hear this. I'm not keeping it a secret anymore. So here's the next question, and this is the tough one. When you get good at it, boy, it changes the conversations you have. So number one, do I have your permission to help? Number two, you ready? Do I have your permission to make you feel just a little bit uncomfortable? Think about that. When you're in this position, we found out they don't have a place to go, the year of their life is going to go by, all of these things are going to happen. Do I have your permission to make you feel a little uncomfortable? And the reason I ask that is because if I do talk to you about something you haven't heard before, and maybe do things you haven't done before, and maybe feel a way you haven't felt before, you might feel a little uncomfortable. So I just want to make sure it's okay if I ask you, can I make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Because if you say yes to that, and this is what I say, if you say yes to that, I promise you're going to love question number three. So, do I have your permission to make you feel a little uncomfortable? Okay, sure. Yeah, of course, right? Third question. And this is so important. I know it seems silly. It seems almost common sense, but it's not. There's a huge psychological reason why you have to ask this question. Here's number three. Ready? Number three. Do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Wow. You can just watch their body just go, sure. Oh, well, I hope so. What have you just done? You've set them up with, it's okay to ask for help. What's the most difficult thing people have to get started is to ask for help. Harvard did a study. They found out, gosh, it doesn't surprise me. It shocks me, but it doesn't surprise me. Harvard found out that if I was working in an office, right, and there's a hallway between me and the office across the way, they found out that it takes, on average, 2.4 days for somebody to walk across the hall, literally 6 feet, walk across the hall and ask that person for help who they know knows the answer. Can you believe that? 2.4 days to wait to get your solution? On average. So what does that mean? Some are shorter, but some are. How long have you been waiting for your goals? So what we've done is, do I have your permission to help? Yes, so we've engaged them. It's okay for us to talk together. They now have psychologically and subliminally put this little nugget in their head that you're here to help me. So I may be able to open up a little bit more. I may be able to say a little bit more to you than I would to somebody that's trying to sell me. Gosh, I hope this makes sense. I hope I'm doing a good enough job. Man, I hope I am. So here, number one, do I have your permission to help? Number two, do I have your permission to take you out of that? Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Because, folks, we're going to be talking about something they haven't heard before. Talking about your company, your product, your service, whatever it is. Maybe they heard about it, but they haven't heard it from you, so they may feel a little uncomfortable. My daddy said something to me I'll never forget. Listen carefully. How do you know a salesman's lying? His lips are moving. So that's the perception everyone has, right? That you're trying to sell them something. What you're trying to sell them on is it okay for them to win? Boy, when you change the way you look at things, if you're trying to sell them on the idea, you're wanting them to buy, it's okay for them to win. Permission to help, permission to make you feel a little uncomfortable, and then the third one, do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? So, when you understand, when you listen to this again, maybe you've written this down, but when that sinks in, oh my gosh, the world, it changed for me. I don't know what it's going to do for you. I hope it does. But I can tell you this, when you realize the power that you've just put into your hands, the power that you've just now allowed yourself to have a conversation, not a confrontation with somebody, Katie, bar the door. Man, you're going to be able to do so many great things with folks. You're going to be able to have so many great results for yourself in any part, in any way. So there's the three questions, the three objection questions. So now we've got that, and then you're going to go through your process. So what happens when somebody objects? Well, now you look at it as an observation. When somebody says, oh, well, I can't do that. Say, remember question 2? Remember the uncomfortable part? You probably instinctively said that because I've made you a little uncomfortable. Is that okay? If you're uncomfortable, let's work on that right now. So remember number 3? I get to take you out of that. You gave me permission to do that. Can we do that right now? Now, I know some of you may be sitting there going, oh my gosh, Sean, I can't do all that. You're so smooth. Folks, it has nothing to do with smooth. You have to, it has everything to do with being able to listen. See, if you listen with your heart, not just your ears, with your eyes, not just your ears, with your energy, that emotion, those feelings that are coming across the table, when you begin to engage, to be totally present, and not thinking about whether you got to get the clothes or feed the dog or what. When you can be right there present with somebody, I promise you, these things will flow out of you like they did for me. Now, yes, it is true. I've done it a few more times than maybe you have. A couple of thousand maybe. But the point, I got started. When that first time I did it, and I realized that I don't have to be the one causing resistance. I can eliminate the resistance. Man, it changed everything. So we're going to wrap this up. I told you it's going to be 30 minutes. If you want to do more on this, let me know. I've got more videos, more training. So we're going to, so let's do a quick wrap up. So here's the nuggets. 1, objections versus observations. Change it to observations, because if I were to speak, for those of you that may not understand Spanish, damas y caballeros, bienvenidos para esa reunión. Nosotros hablamos de objections, porque yo no sé la palabra en objections en español. You'd be sitting there going, well, I think I heard objections. How many times does your prospect hear just 1 or 2 of the words that make sense to them? Right? So what happens is that if so they don't feel uncomfortable, they wind up putting up the wall, and that's an objection. So change it to an observation. Say, you know what, I hear that a lot. I think that's awesome. Some of my best clients have said that to me. Let's continue. When you realize that every word has this energy in it, and when you hear an objection and you take it as an objection, you shut yourself down. I'm going to ask you to not do that. So objections to observations. Where are they at? Find out where they're at. Before we get to, here's what I always ask people when I sat down for a meeting, right? I asked them to come, whether it's a hotel meeting, a coffee meeting, whatever it is. I asked them to come. I set the appointment. But when we sat down, you know, it's a question I asked them. Those 3 little letters, what are those 3 little letters? You remember them? What's the word? Exactly. Why are we here? Why are we here? Boy, that really sets the stage. What do you mean why we're here? We're here for you to tell me about my stuff. No, we're not. You came for something for you. Why are we here? Well, I want to see if this works for me. Great. If it works for you, is it something that you may want to move forward? Great. Let's find out if we can cover those 2 things. It works for you and you're willing to move forward. Ready to go? Awesome. Can I ask you a couple of quick questions? Yeah, sure. That thing that you want to work for, that goal that you're looking for, in the last 6 months, because you don't even know what the goal is yet. They do, don't they? In the last 6 months, have you worked on anything, put anything new in place, any new activities, products, services, tools? Have you put anything in place in the last 6 months to get closer to that goal? No. You probably talked about it, though, haven't you? You've probably thought about it, haven't you? Oh, yeah, sure. Next question. Question 1, question number 2. In the next 6 months, do you have any concrete plans, anything on a calendar, anything scheduled, any dates to take off time so you can go attend this new conference, whatever it is? Do you have anything in the next 6 months to reach your goals planned? No. See, that's probably where stress comes in, where thoughts and actions and results don't equal, right? You want things, you want results, but you're not doing the actions, and therefore you're having these thoughts, and you're probably a little stressed out, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can't fix that. So last 6 months, nothing. Next 6 months, nothing. Are you okay with a year of your life going by and nothing happening, nothing changing? I'm just asking. No, I'm not. Great. Can I ask you 3 simple questions? 1, do I have your permission to help you? Not sure if I can, but do I have your permission to help you? If I can, will you allow me? Well, sure. 2, there are 3 simple questions. 2, second question, do I have your permission to make you feel a little uncomfortable? Ooh. Now, I asked this to perfect strangers. Why? Listen, the reason I ask that is because if a year of your life has gone by, don't you maybe feel a little stressed that you haven't really changed anything dramatic in your life? Well, yeah. So if you got to get someplace you haven't been before, you're probably going to have to do something you've not done before, hear something you've not heard before, and maybe it'll make you feel a little like you haven't felt before. Right? Yeah. So do I have your permission to put you in that little uncomfortable feeling to maybe help you get closer to your goal? Would that be okay? Sure. Because if you say yes to number 2, you're going to love number 3. Here's number 3. Number 3 is, do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Whether we do anything or not here today, I don't want to leave you in that frustrating spot. Are you okay to come back out of that frustration? Yeah, sure, great. Awesome. Let's move forward. You know, one of the things that I want to talk with you about is I really want to find out, where do you want to get to? Tell me what that looks like, because I don't know if the destination you're trying to get to that I can help you with. Don't have a solution for everyone, but a lot of folks do seem to find a way to leverage what I can do with you and for you and through the company, right? If you're selling a product or service, been able to leverage those tools to create success for themselves, because my success is irrelevant to yours, right? What I love about this industry that we're in is that we really get to capitalize off of both of our successes. So tell me where you need to get to. Now, if you just listen, oh my gosh, things will change. So there you go. There's just kind of a quick overview of it. Any comments in the comment section? Has this been helpful? Tell me if this has been helpful. I mean, gosh, I hope it's been helpful. I haven't seen anybody leave yet. now you may be checking your emails. But just let me know if it was of value to you, okay, in the comment section. That'd be awesome. And if not, that's okay too. So, all right, awesome, thank you, awesome, great. All right, review, can't wait to watch the, yep, okay, cool, excellent, excellent. Hey, listen, I appreciate you being here today. Do me a favor. Go to Facebook and share that you just was on a video with me, a conference call, webinar, hangout, and you got some things. Here's the questions I have for those of you that have worked with me before. Tell me 2 things. What's one thing you learned and one thing you liked? One thing you learned and one thing you liked. Remember, words don't teach. I didn't teach you anything today. I awakened, I opened up opportunity, possibility inside you to help you have more of what you want. So go to Facebook, find my page, tell me one thing you liked and one thing you learned. But I'd rather it in the other order. One thing you learned, one thing you liked, okay? And then this video will be up inside of Mental Profits community page, Mental Profits community page. So there's a link on my Facebook page to go see that. So click that, and a lot of these private videos get shown back there. They don't wind up outside for public. Awesome. Appreciate it, Oscar. Thanks, Joshua. I love you. It kind of embarrassed me being here. My one of my mentors is here on the page. So anyway, so I appreciate y'all being here. Listen, if there's anything I can do to help you, I get to pay it forward. I get to spend time with you. Just let me know. Tell me something. Send me a message, private email, whatever it is. Instant message me. Just send me a topic you'd like me to talk with. Maybe it's a private group. You want me to do something with your team? Fine. Call me up. I'll do something. Let's do a hangout for your team. I want you to win. Why? Because I'm very focused on what I want. And here's the thing I want. I want to be a better dad, better husband. How do I do that? I do it by making sure I put more smiles in the world. Because if those smiles show up in the world, they're going to eventually make their way back to who? My bride and my son. Awesome. I appreciate you. Love you very much. And I do mean that. And if I haven't worked with you, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you, meet you where? At the next event and give you a hug. Come up, find me. I love hugs. You'll see my post, Hugs from Dallas. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I could talk to you all day. It's been a blessing to be with you. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you where? At the next event. Till then, I'm Sean G. Murphy, and bye for now.